Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for January 31st. On this day in 1958, NASA launched the Explorer 1 space probe from Cape Canaveral, Florida. It was the first probe to confirm the existence of the Van Allen belt, an invisible shield of radiation that surrounds Earth and makes it possible for life to survive. And over the course of the probe's 12-year lifespan, it gathered more data about the space surrounding our planet. Explorer 1 was launched as part of the space race during the height of the Cold War, and although it was housed on a deadly rocket, it was one of the first launches with a purely scientific mission. Its orbit eventually decayed and it burned up in our atmosphere in 1970. January 31st, 1997 was a red-letter day for Star Wars fans. It was when Lucasfilm released the special edition version of the first Star Wars film, which by then had been given the subtitle Episode 4: A New Hope. This new version included computer enhancements to existing scenes and entirely new scenes like the one with Jabba the Hutt. The changes were controversial, with many seeing them as unnecessary and distracting, especially the altered shootout between Han Solo and Greedo. Special edition versions of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi followed a few months later, each with changes of their own, but that wasn't the end of it. Creator George Lucas continued to make new changes all the way up to his sale of the franchise to Disney in 2012, and to this day, these altered versions are the only ones legally available in modern home video formats. Many fans are hoping that Disney will one day release the original cuts. January 31st, 1997 wasn't all bad. Square Enix released Final Fantasy VII, which many consider to be the best in the franchise. It was a massive game with massive swords, offering a huge story and fully 3D characters. And it was so big it took up no less than 3 discs on the original PlayStation 1. A North American version followed later in the year, and the game has since been ported to many other platforms and spawned an entire series of spin-offs. Square Enix is currently working on a full remake of Final Fantasy VII for modern systems. 2 years later, on January 31st, 1999, another huge Japanese game was released. Konami launched the first Silent Hill game on the PlayStation 1, kicking off their chilling survival horror series. At the time, many saw the game as Konami's answer to rival Capcom's Resident Evil, but Silent Hill quickly established itself as a memorable franchise with its own brand of scares and terrifying creatures. The series has been silent for a number of years, though. The last game was released in 2012, and the planned reboot PT was canceled shortly after it was announced. Hopefully the franchise will rise again. One last big game to talk about, Soul Calibur 5 was released on January 31st, 2012 on the PS3 and Xbox 360. It wasn't as well received as the previous games, but was still a hit, giving players the tried and true tale of souls and swords eternally retold. A follow-up, Soul Calibur 6, is coming later this year.